thank gosh. I'm getting a little bit of rain right now. It was like it's 100 degrees out, it feels like, but there's some moisture falling on my arm. Maybe I should stick my head out the window and see if there's a rainbow. Um, I'm not seeing one. I don't even see where the rain cloud is above me, but it doesn't even look like there's a rain cloud coming ahead of me, but there's definitely some billowy clouds. It's been like extremely freaking smoky. Last week it was so smoky that you couldn't even walk outside and breathe. And let alone see your hand in front of your face for how smoky it was. We had Rap in the Rivers last Friday and Saturday, and I skipped going Friday because of how smoky it was. And then I went out there on Saturday, and where I live in Belgrade, it wasn't necessarily as bad. But when you got out there to where Rap in the River was, out by Lewis and Clark Caverns, the smoke just hung out into the arena to where you could like be standing in the crowd and see the smoke hanging on the stage. And then the wind picked up a little bit and started really blowing the smoke around, and my chest got real heavy, and I was like, damn, this is like tight. And someone who grew up with as sports induced asthma, who was very well aware of, be, indoors and carry your inhaler when it was, smoky out, was like, very well aware, like, feeling, being self aware of my lungs and feeling the pressure in my lungs build up. I didn't stick around very long on Saturday, but to think of the perspective of being an artist and a performer performing and putting themselves through a set in that caliber of atmosphere and persevering through that kind of an environment where the smoke and the atmospheric pressure was that detriment to their health, but still providing that level of experience and excellence to what their to their art, and to give that to the audience and to that um, arena and to that business of Rap in the Rivers was absolute hands down incredible. Because here 4 years ago, Rap in the Rivers, their first year out, had a torrential downpour of rain that could have essentially shut any festival down and said, no, we're not performing, it's damaging our equipment. And the artists are in face of damage, or in face of detriment to slipping and falling, and could hurt themselves. But no, here we have Futuristic performing on the, not the main stage, but the secondary stage in a torrential downpour. The equipment's just bumping, and they persevered and put on a historical um, festival through thick and thin. And then here we are 4 years later in this atmospheric pressure of smoke, where maybe a festival could have been like, no, this isn't safe for our audience or our high level performers, but they persevered anyways and still put on another absolutely extraordinary successful festival. And the artists persevered and put themselves in front of harm's way to deliver another yet successful year. And I'm looking at now the 7 days later, today on Friday, and we've gotten a couple days of moisture, and the smoke has somewhat lifted. I can see actually the clouds, which I couldn't see the clouds before. Can see the tree in front of me. I can see the mountains around the area, and it's almost a shift of 180 degrees different of what it looked like last weekend to this weekend. And what if this Rapping Rivers could have been this weekend versus last weekend, it would have been more, more. I guess I actually no. I could have say less successful because it doesn't give them that storyline of persevering through something, of a hardship, of pulling through such another shift of hardship that could have, you know, that storyline, and that's a perspective, really is. I just absolutely extraordinary.